Hello, this is Mark and this is a short informative video in regards to pointing out that I've been filing all kinds of paperwork and posting all this stuff on my website, well actually my Facebook, and my website's been robbed. But, to get a point across, and I actually thought about it, made strategies, and proceeded with it, and started way back in November regarding this push. That's enough's enough, okay? And bottom line, back then, I filed a notice to the effect that as far as I was concerned, the Stone of Destiny in Scotland was the stumbling block of Romans 9, 10, and 11. And I pointed out that in regard to this, the stone was stolen. And it was finally, and it was given back to England. There's all this dispute over it. And I did a video on it a while back. I can't spend too much time on it here. But bottom line is, I had this course of how to get there. Okay? Now, and set them up. Okay? My basic contention is that as to the paperwork that I filed, everything that the government in Canada is doing is absolutely legal. But then everything Hitler did was absolutely legal. Okay? And the comparison is 100%. Okay? The same assholes who are governing Hitler, who were governing Hitler, are governing the world now. That's all there is to it. I personally think the biggest sinners of those is common purpose. But again, that's another issue. Okay, they've infiltrated everything called decency in civil service. Okay, and as I say in my writings, if anyone wrote the epitaph for the wicked generation, it was common purpose. Okay, now, so basically what happened is I filed this notice with the city, and basically I said the city, eventually the city will be responsible for what I'm doing here. Okay, let's move on to a series of small things that happened in end of November, but it didn't materialize. That would have been a nice course, but it didn't materialize. So all of a sudden I was handed this golden opportunity where 3 pounds of pot were shipped from Nelson, and they mailed it to my Marijuana Party Riding Association or Electoral District Association offices, where I received the mail as party whip for the Marijuana Party of Canada. Now that was sent to my address, and this being the party headquarters, and the fact that I'm a baker, I bake cookies. That's how I make a living. Okay, I supply. I'm by far the busiest baker in the Vancouver area. That's all there is to it. I make very good cookies, but that's another issue. Okay, so basically, but it's not. It's connected to the fact that here in BC, we have a court ruling saying that a guy called Smith in Victoria had his charges dropped because the Crown did not want to proceed against a baker. Okay, because it was a trial by judge and jury, and they didn't think they could win, and the Crown has an onus of not proceeding on trials that they can't win. But that's court precedent. Okay, now in Vancouver, we have a mayor who went to Ottawa a year and a half ago, and claimed and got a claim of right under colonial rule to service the needs of Vancouver people through what's called the Pitfield decision. And that allowed heroin and injection things to happen, and all kinds of new experimental things are done, but that's another issue. Now, the reality is a lot of compassion clubs are operating in Vancouver under the Pitfield decision. And let's get back to the pot, okay? Had I sent pot from Quebec to Ontario, and I tried to get my pot back, I'd be stupid, okay? Because the laws in Ontario and Quebec are not the same as BC. We have special circumstances here. And the reality is the very nature of the post office does not apply all the rules to everyone at the same time. So I ended up having to file with the post office saying, give me back my pot. Now, that's a serious crime under the post office. That's called 337 of the Criminal Code of Canada. It's a 14-year indictment. But, and it's all about the post office, okay? And the reality is what the post office is doing, it's applying uniform code on the entire country on its post office rules. And under those rules, I can't get my pot delivered. It's a political decision. Okay? Now, under the post office rules, there's 2 ministers in charge of that. And he has to deliver my pot. Because in Vancouver, it's not a crime. And if it's not a crime, it's not the Attorney General who sets out the itinerary. It's not the Postmaster General who sets out the itinerary of what's not prosecutable in your community. It's the community and its police force. And in Vancouver, the Vancouver Police Department openly said that they would not bust me for my pot because they know I'm a baker. They know that's what I bake with it. And pot is so low on the priority list because of the mandate given to the mayor and the fact, I could get into a long statement on that, but you know what? I was assured they wouldn't bust me. And you know what? They won't deliver the pot. So that meant I had to file a Supreme Court motion because I was actually encouraged by the post office that the only way you're going to find remedy with this is by filing a motion in court. So I tried to file a civil motion. Okay? Now, the reason for filing a civil motion is because nobody will give me a case file number to file against. Okay? And that's craftiness. That's pure craftiness. And sleaziness, slime ball, you can use other words, but, they just won't give me a file number to base on. So basically, the only procedure is to file under what's a notice of claim. And I got to the desk, and this lady working behind the desk just started ripping up the paperwork. Well, I had witnesses and looked at it and went, can't allow this, and walked out. And the reality is the registrars can do whatever they want. It's criminal what she was doing, but there's no way of charging her because you have to get approval from the Attorney General of Canada to charge any public official. And since she's doing the bidding of the Attorney General of BC, they'll never charge her. Okay, it's just impossible. You're pissing off the rope if you think you can charge any public official in Canada. And there's so many examples of that, it's pathetic. But again, that's another issue, okay? So bottom line is they refuse doing it, which gets into an entire constitutional battle, which I now went into full gear, and I should do that on another video on the grounds that this is about a 9-minute video at the moment, and the 2 issues are rather confusing, okay? So just tune in for part 2 of this. And basically my grievance is that I'm being robbed, okay? And they can't rob me, okay? They can't rob me as a party whip for the marijuana party doing a quasi-legal activity of making cookies in BC when there isn't a cop in town that'll bust me for it. Or at least not yet. The new Harper regimes haven't started. But, let's see. Time will tell. Thank you.